Well, good evening, Las Vegas, and good evening to the world. It's Wednesday night, and it's time to grind. That means it's time for American Grind right here on Vegas All Net Radio. Stand by. Your hosts are on the way.
I was dreaming when I wrote this. Forgive me if it goes astray.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today is Wednesday, August 19th. You're about to witness the American Mind Grind, a controversial talk show that covers topics of all size, shape, and color. Please be advised, the show will make your brain hurt. If you have a faint heart or weak liver, it is suggested you consult a physician before participating. Others may consider a glass of water and 2 Advil to help lower your blood pressure. You will have to think. Your mind will get addicted to the program. We bring it to you straight and do not duck any of the issues. Although it may hurt, the show is good for you. We must all be aware of our surroundings and understand what is happening in this crazy world that we live in. Remember, comments in this show are that of opinion only. We are not professionals and will not be held responsible for the stupid things you might do after listening to this show. Matt, Eric, you guys ready?
Yep, I sure am. What a world we live in, Jeff. A legal disclaimer for a goddamn talk show.
I'm telling you.
Oh my God. It's just kind of the way things are these days, you know what I mean? You would think that you wouldn't have to do something like that, but it's just the way it is. Just real quick, I want to thank everyone for their positive feedback this week, for the views on YouTube, the likes on Facebook. If you have a story for us, shoot it to us, email it, text it, call, horse and buggy, Morse code it to us, and we'll review it, and hopefully it will make it to the show. So I'm going to hand you off to Jeff. We have a lot of material to cover tonight. So go ahead and, Jeff, tell us where we're going.
Well, we came into Straight Outta Compton and the song Express Yourself, and as you pointed out, legal disclaimer for a radio show that's on the internet where it's total freedom of speech, and the First Amendment should protect you always. Did you see the show? Did you guys see the show?
I sure did.
I have not seen it yet.
Well, you're going to, because it's fantastic, brother. I mean, it's such a great movie, and I know Jeff just saw it, so he's still coming down from it. But if you like movies, you need to see Straight Outta Compton. I guarantee, I'll call it right now, boys, it will be nominated for Best Film. I'm telling you right now. It might sound crazy to some people, but I'm telling you that's what's going to happen.
It has to be nominated. The acting was insane, and how they found the people to look. You had mentioned it to look just like Ice Cube and Dre.
I'm sorry, Jeff. I'm sorry. O'Shea Jackson, Cube's son, actually plays Cube. Okay,
that's his boy.
That is his son. Okay, and the other guys, I just don't know how they did it. Just like you said, man, the casting was so money. You know what I mean? Like they nutted exactly what the boys look like. You know, and during the concert scenes, it just absolutely looks so authentic. You know what I mean? To that time and the place, and they recreated that moment. You know, in time.
Great movie. Great movie.
It really was great.
It really
movie.
stressed the First Amendment and the freedom of speech, and which is why we're here and able to do what we do on this show.
That's right.
And thanks to guys like that laid the groundwork for us to be here.
Well, the FBI and local enforcement agencies and local police officers and all that, they actually suppressed NWA a lot. You know, I mean, they sent them threatening letters. If you sing certain songs, I'm gonna have to say it. Sorry about that, but fuck the police in particular. You know what I mean? That there will be legal ramifications. But all the while, it's their absolute First Amendment right to do so, and they can sing anything that they want about any subject they want, and they should be covered by the First Amendment.
They got arrested, right?
Detroit, Michigan. They did a show in Detroit, and basically the head of the Detroit Police Department briefed them before their show and said, look, if you say fuck the police, if you're going to sing it and perform it, 2 things are going to happen. 1, we're going to arrest all of you. Number 2, we're going to forfeit all of your money that you're going to make here tonight. And when they took the stage, they had already determined that they were, in fact, going to sing that song and going to jail that night. And they did it for basically like just the point of protecting people's rights and stuff like that. But there was another hitch to it, Jeff. It was also because they knew bad publicity was good publicity. You understand?
Oh, yeah.
Good or bad, they're in the spotlight. Remember the part where they're stomping on their records, and he's like, "I don't care if they stomp on our records. They paid for them."
Yeah, they paid for them. Who cares what they do with them? Which is their right to hate them.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's their right to love them. You know, it's pretty crazy. We touched on it a little bit last week about, you know, being offended easily, and because your way is the way you think is not make it the right way.
That's right.
You know? And it's watching that show kind of puts it all in that movie. It puts it all in perspective.
I'll tell you what else is in perspective. $60.2 million box office. It's #1 movie in America and worldwide currently.
42 million in the first 10 days.
Yep. As of yesterday, it was $60.2 million back office hit, #1 movie. And, that's the thing. It really encapsulates the entrepreneurial spirit of America. You know, these guys started with drug money. Eazy-E came up, fronted the money, $250,000. You know what I mean? For them to start cutting records. And then within a several year time, they are all multimillionaires. And as a result of NWA being created, Ice Cube has a net value, net income. A net gross value of $100 million, guys. $100 million. And Dr. Dre with Beats, he sold Beats for $3 billion. When it was all said and done and dust had cleared, he is now worth currently $700 million. Pretty good from the boys from the hood, huh?
Yeah, very
Right.
well.
So there is a way out of the hood.
Oh, there's a way out of the hood.
Now, there's no way that I condone it. A lot of people out there, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of haters saying that that's not a good movie, that it's sending a bad message to the kids. And in no way do I condone F the police. Like, I just don't think – it's sad that there's a market out there for people that think that's a cool song. It's a stupid song. You don't want to raise your kids, in my opinion, to hate the police and not respect authority. And it's kind of what we've got going on in this country right now is – people don't fear authority, and sometimes fear is good. And I'm not saying that there's not bad cops out there, because there are. And in that movie, it really shows the cops roughing up the kids kind of for no reason, other than that they were out lingering in the street and looking
there was
like
a lot of
just
profiling.
Looking like they're up to no good.
Oh, yeah.
But I want to look deeper into it and say, well, why were the cops in those neighborhoods so tough? Because they were told to be. Why? Because there were so many killings going on a daily basis that we have to step in.
Yep.
Good has to win over evil, always, at whatever cost. So I'm just saying, and for the people that are hating on the music and hating on the movie and hating on guns these days, look in the mirror and say, you know, you're not going to be able to hide your kids from the world. Quit blaming everything and everyone else for your own problems and raise your children. It's not a black thing or a white thing or a Chinese thing or a Mexican thing. It is, I call it a poverty thing. A single mom is trying to raise 3 or 4 kids these days, working 3 or 4 jobs. Who's going to teach that kid right from wrong? Who's going to teach that kid to respect authority? You know, who's going to teach them? If a cop says, put your hands up, you might want to put your hands up.
Oh, absolutely.
Instead of reaching for your back pocket, you're probably going to end up shot. And then everyone on the news is going to jump in and be like, oh, cops are killing everyone. Cops are killing everyone.
Well, police officers, they get scared too. When you are pulled over for a routine traffic stop and they tell you to put your hands on 2 and 10 and you don't do it the way they want it done, and you don't present that you're not a threat to them in any way, I will assure you their adrenaline's people coming out of the car blazing guns and people die. You understand? So you have to respect the authorities and police officers and cooperate with them when they are doing an investigation or inquiry of any kind.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I think about it all the time. I can't imagine walking up to a car. If you pull someone over at nighttime, it's pitch black dark, or 2 or 3 in the morning, walking up to a car with tinted windows, and you have no idea what's going to happen. Like,
Let alone if there's 4 or 5 people in the car. You know what I mean? You're outnumbered. You're by yourself.
Oh, absolutely. You don't have backup. You know what I mean? You're going in hot. You're going in already heightened sense of awareness and worry.
yeah, the days of chips. That's a good point. Like, they walked. There was
Chips. Eric Estrada was my hero. I love Chips.
Ponch
Him
and
Andy-
John, they
yeah.
had each other's backs. Like you walk out now, you rarely see cops in pairs anymore. I'm sure in the bigger cities,
Oh, yeah, I'm
they're
sure.
always paired together. But here, I don't see very much of it. And man, it's got to be a scary feeling. And again, I don't condone cops acting out of fear or doing anything like that. And there's a lot of them that have authority that never had authority in their life, so they're bad cops. But for the most part, I have to believe that there's more good cops than bad cops. They're not out there like, hey, today let's go kill somebody.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. There are always exceptions to the rule. Always. And you can't base it on that as a whole. Okay?
Right.
There are a lot of officers that really care about their communities, care about the people within those communities, participate in community activities, and live in those communities. So, I would definitely say that you can't think about it at a whole. It's just individual merit. That's how I leave that. You know what I mean?
I think wasn't there a lot of extra security on? They were expecting riots and stuff.
Yep, that's a great point, Jeff. I saw the show in North Las Vegas, okay? So North Las Vegas has a population of African Americans, a heightened one compared to the city of Las Vegas, I suspect. And they were actually showing the show, which I thought was kind of funny, every half hour on the hour from 9:15 through the entire business day. You know what I'm saying? And I went to the 9:15 a.m. show. And my friend Al, he works over there, okay? And he's a parent of one of the kids that Ethan goes to school with, you know? And he shared with me that they doubled their staff the first several days that the show came out. You know, so
There it is.
the nature of the show, there was a lot of preconceived notions of how things were going to shake down, but nothing. He also told me clearly there's not even been one event whatsoever associated to that movie, and he thought, frankly, that they wasted money overstaffing.
Yeah, and the movie, I'm sure it's because of Boys in the Hood. When Boys in the Hood came out, there were shootings and riots and all kinds of stuff going on. And in the movie, Boys in the Hood is really about revenge on how they had been held down.
Yep.
And how they're pretty much set up to fail. And every now and then one makes it out of the hood. And so people came out angry. They came out, the blood and Crip type thing, wanting to kill, feeling that rage. Where I think this movie kind of puts everybody together.
Well, you know what, Jeff? You also have to go backwards there because in 1991 was the Rodney King incident.
Right.
So F the Police comes out a year prior to that, okay? And they're talking about racial profiling and abusive treatment of the LAPD to South Central Los Angeles, Compton, Long Beach. You don't understand what I'm saying? And then they it's just it was terrible, you know what I mean, as far as that goes. But Rodney King was also, the officers that assaulted him were acquitted, and that just fueled the fire for more bad blood between local civilians and the police officers themselves.
Whenever someone feels they're not getting a fair shake at it, there's going to be reaction most of the time, and that's what makes it tough. Going back on what you were saying about the cops coming into something scared. Carl Howell, did you hear about the officer shot up in Carson City responding to
Yep,
a
I sure
domestic
did.
call?
Yeah.
You lived up
Terrible.
North Nevada, didn't you?
Yeah, actually, I was born and raised up in Carson City, so
Oh, you were born and raised in Carson
born
City.
and raised in Carson City. So
Wow.
So what kind of place is it?
it's a small town, probably about 55,000 people. Very tight knit community. It's the kind of town where people leave their front doors unlocked.
Are your folks still there, Matt?
Yeah, they are actually.
And what are they
Yeah.
telling you in regards to kind of the beat on the street, you know what I mean?
Every time that something tragic happens in Carson, the community really pulls together.
Right.
But I think this really struck a nerve at home because there's only been 4 other Carson City Sheriff's deputies that have been killed, and 2
When-
of them were in the 1800s.
Well, yeah, when was it?
In the line of
Correct me
duty.
here, but I'm pretty sure that the last time a Carson City sheriff or a patrolman was shot and killed in the line of duty was, and correct me if I'm wrong, 1867?
That's
Correct.
exactly correct.
Wow. So that must have really hit home. That community must be in shambles right now.
So you had one in 1949 died of a heart attack, and one died in 1963 of a car crash. So
And that's
it's a
unrelated,
very, very
not in the line of
tight-knit
duty.
community.
So here you are. It's after 2:00 in the morning. You get a call. There's a domestic dispute,
Yeah, domestic
man and
DV.
woman, and you show up, hoping you can figure it out. And so what happened is he had separated the two like they're supposed to do. He took the woman outside, was getting her side of the story, and dude came out and shot him.
Wow.
He was able to fire rounds back, and he killed the guy.
Yep.
So justice was served, and going back on last week, we won't have to put him on death row, and we won't have to take him
That's
to
$1
court.
million save for John Q taxpayer.
Cost of one hollow point.
One hollow point.
No, I think it was worse than that. There was a fire exchange. There was exchanging going on there.
Right, shooting at each other.
Yeah. Carl Howell was the officer that was involved with this incident. Sadly, he's survived by 4 children between the ages of 7 and 12, and of course his wife. It's just a terrible story, Small town place like that. It just must have shaken the entire community, And it's unfortunate.
If you're an officer, you think that might be one of the best jobs in the world because, like Matt was saying, nothing goes on there. There's nothing.
Well, last week Pee Wee Herman's bike was stolen.
Right, that might be the biggest front page news. That
Exhibit H.
Someone stole a bike. Not in our city.
Imagine the guy riding down
I'm
Main
going to
Street.
find that guy. So for the most
Pee-wee's
part, I
bike.
think they get some pretty routine calls. A little kid from school takes a candy bar from the convenience store, and then he goes and talks to his parents and be like, I'm going to give you a warning this time and not going to take you in, youngster. You know what I mean? But this is a serious thing. And that goes back to what we were talking about. When you're approached by an officers making an inquiry, please be cooperative. Try to calm down. Don't excite him. Don't excite yourself. Let him make his inquiry, good or bad. If there are consequences for whatever you're doing currently, accept those consequences. It is what it is. Okay?
When I see the stories on the news and I see cop kills another kid unarmed or whatever, I want to know, what did the kid do to put himself in the situation?
Right.
And, that weighs heavy on my mind all the time, every time I see it. And the one in Ferguson, he stole from the store, he thrashed the place, he shoves over the owner. Like, that kid was out to cause trouble. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the consequence, unfortunately, was death for this young man. And everybody's against the police, and everybody has something to say. And it's just, and I watch this movie, and you see where they're just standing there on the side of the road, and the cops are like, get on the ground.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
So it's, it's a double-edged sword. We have to have the crime get off the street and bad cops, of course, off the street.
I'm sorry, Jeff. I know the two stories are kind of linked, F the police, and now a guy goes out on a routine call and he loses his life.
Well, that's why the cops are scared, is because stories like that, you hear them
right
in their powwow, they're going to be talking about this guy who got killed. They're going to be a little on edge, and you can't blame them. If I picture myself out there doing it, I'd be scared too if I was a cop.
I would be so upset if I didn't remember this. So let me go ahead and give the information. Okay, if you are reach deep in your hearts and your pocketbooks. Okay, if you want to donate money to Carl Howell's family, you can call the Carson City Sheriff's Department at 775-887. 2500. They're going to set up an account for his family with Bank of America as soon as next Monday, and really consider giving them money. I mean, the father of 4 children, I'm sure that they're shaking down the root, and I'm sure they're not thinking about money at all. But at the end of the day, they're going to need some additional money in that family. I'm sure that he had a pension, and I'm sure that the state of Nevada is going to take care of him, or I'd hope they would. Forever.
Probably a stay-at-home mom,
family.
yeah.
Probably 4 children, I would suspect so. I don't know. I didn't really look if she works or not, but I suspect she was stay-at-home.
I didn't read anywhere either way, but
Right.
the community up there, our thoughts and prayers go out with the whole community. They do tend to band together, but if you can give anything, just please do.
And
I read that they got together so much on it, and that they're so behind him that everybody wants to go to the funeral that they had to delay it a day because the community is so behind it. And
I could certainly see that happening. I certainly can.
the funeral is scheduled at the Reno Event Center tomorrow, 11 a.m. For those of you up in Northern Nevada, attend, show your support for your community, and our thoughts and prayers go out to him, his family, his children, and the entire community as a whole. And I'm sure they'll band together, just like you said, and get together and support each other.
I'm from small town Blackfoot, Idaho, and it's the same thing. This story really made me think about when I grew up.
Well, hold on, Jeff. There's only 2 things that come from Idaho. What comes from Idaho, brother?
Spuds and studs.
Spuds and studs.
God.
Simplot studs.
I'm quoting Jake Plummer too, great quarterback for the NFL out of Boise, Idaho. A good buddy of mine who said that on national television.
Spuds and studs.
But if you watch Boise State football, you have to agree.
Oh, absolutely. We're big fans of Boise State football. Of course, I'm a UNLV alumni. I'll cheer for them when they play the Broncos. But aside from that, if the Broncos are playing anyone but UNLV, I'm all about the Bronco.
You just enraged all of our Northern Nevada listeners.
Sorry, Reno
furious.
folks.
Sorry,
right
Wolfpack.
Colin Kaepernick. It was a good run.
Some
you
of the
guys
worst
killed our
fans.
season. Sons of bitches.
And then they sucked again. No offense.
Just a quick note. I want to just bring back another story before we move on or whatever. But the last two officers that were in fact killed in the line of duty, I'm sure you guys remember this story, was in 2014 when Igor Soldo and Alan Beck were killed when they went to Panda Express or something like that.
They were at CC's Pizza.
I'm sorry, CC's Pizza. They're getting a soft drink. They're at the soft drink machine. They've got their backs turned, and that the man and the woman, the couple, went in there, shot him back of the head, execution style. So you can kind of wonder why police, they get worried too.
They might be a little angry these days.
Yeah, that would be yeah.
Like most of them are just out there trying to make a living, and provide for their family, and they got kids they're going to go home to. And if I'm a cop, I'm not going to lose my life to just some guy out on the street. I'm trying to protect society, and some loser is going to shoot me. Well, not if I shoot him first.
You know what I'd do if I was a cop? Get a couple of my homies together, cut an album called F the Citizens.
F the Citizens.
That makes some goddamn money. That's what I would do. Raise it for like the
Cruising down the street, you're 6'4".
yeah, cruising on my street, my 6'4",
5'0".
with my 4'5", little buddy.
I got my K9 in the bag. Let's do it. Let's put it together. Let's represent.
Well, I like to think that there's always a comical relief to every story that we do, but
There has to be.
in
That's
all
what we're
seriousness,
doing, yeah.
that was a really sad story, and I'm glad we had a chance to
Tough
talk
story.
about it. And
So if you guys want to call in and weigh in on anything we talk about tonight.
Should I give the number one more time, Jeff?
702-483-4444. It's 702-483-4444. And while you've got your pen in your hand and you're writing that down, Eric's going to give you the number one more time if you want to donate a little cash up there to Carl Howell and
All right.
his family.
Carl Howell, they're going to establish a bank account at the Bank of America as early as next Monday. The phone number for the Carson City Sheriff's Department is 775-887-2500, and you'll have an opportunity to view our show on YouTube in a couple of days, and if you miss it or whatever. All right, very good.
So guys, 702-483-4444 is how you get a hold of us here. And this is your show, so do your thing, do what you want to talk about, whatever topic. Eric, we had a lot of listeners, and
this week has been terrific. I mean, we're well received, positive feedback all week, and tons of debating. I find people that are bringing stories to me. A lot of the stories that we're talking about here tonight have been brought to me by friends and already debated in many ways and discussed. And that's what the show's about. If you have that story, I told you at the beginning of the show, and you find it on the last page of the last section of a newspaper or something like that, and you want to bring it to us, make sure it gets to us. I mean, in this day and age, communication's so easy. Take your time, send it to us. Jeff will review it. I'll review it. Matt will review it. We'll make a decision. Hopefully it'll be on the show. And if it does, we can even credit the person that sends it, right?
of course, because we're on the big subjects. We're always paying attention, but we love the little stories. We love the little crazy stuff that happens out there, and so we definitely want to be in touch with that.
Jeff, you remember that one from 99? The grandma that graduated from college, and she was 93 years old, bro.
She's not a quitter.
She ain't quitter, and she's a late bloomer.
She's a late bloomer, but she got there.
I'm going to start my career.
What'd you get a degree in?
I have no idea.
That's
It was
what
15 years ago, Matt, when you were 10. You understand?
Communications.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, archaeology.
Her radio show's actually next.
She's gonna go dig up some dinosaurs.
At
man.
home. Nice one, John.
So we good? You guys need a break back there? We good on time? How are we looking at
Just need a
the?
minute, man.
Yeah, we're still good. All right,
I got your song. It's just
all right.
I'm rushing it.
No
Perfect.
worries, brother. We're
We
fine.
got plenty to
We're
talk
fine.
about. We can.
Oh yeah, we can talk all day and night. I wish Aaron would comp us about 6 more hours. We can get crazy with this thing. We'll stay
Take a
here all
nap.
night with you folks.
By the way, we did get
Ta-
3 death
take a
threats
nap.
for you guys.
Yeah, we heard
Yeah,
the
sure,
death
yeah.
threats. The doors are locked at the studio. There was death threats and calls in. And
Yeah,
all kinds of crazy.
we're under
stuff.
high security here.
Yeah.
One of them was from Donald Trump.
Yeah, Trump should thank us. We plugged him. Everyone heard about Trump from
Hey,
our
bad
show.
publicity is good publicity, brother.
He's still doing
Wherever
good.
you get, wherever you get, you get. You know what I mean? You're
I
working
thought he
with it.
kidnapped Rosie O'Donnell's daughter.
Oh, yeah.
She's found. She's found. So Trump didn't have her.
Newscaster asked him, "Hey, Donald, what do you do for military? Who do you talk to? Who's your advisor?" And he's like, "Sunday Night News." Retard. Unbelievable.
You know, the women like him now. You know, we were talking about he might have
really?
a hard time with the women vote. They did a poll that showed more women would vote for him today than men. 50-something% versus 48% or something.
It's funny you say that.
Yeah.
It's just funny you say that because they had the women hated him because of all the fat jokes and all the things that he had said.
Certain
right?
women,
he was very abrasive
certain
to women,
hate
didn't he?
him. You know, like maybe fat women hate him.
Right.
Like not every girl is going to take offense to something that anybody says bad about a woman.
Right.
Like, and that's what I love about our show. That's what I'm trying to bring people. Don't be so offended. Sometimes it's funny. Sometimes you can find a comical twist in something, and you know, you think he really means it. We say things that we don't really mean on there. You know, and
Exactly. Actually,
Rosie,
it just happened. It happened 5 seconds ago, Jeff, and I got to go in there. I called Trump a retard. Now, I'm not trying to insult anybody who's mentally handicapped
Or
or
have kids that
in
are.
any way whatsoever. I should clarify that. I got to be careful with what I said. I was just making more of a slang reference of his stupidity in
but
regards.
don't
to
ever
that.
run for president because it's going to come back to get you now.
Likely never will happen, Jeff.
That was all over the.
No interest. Thank you very much. One, I don't want to get shot and killed.
I got too many skeletons to run, so I'm out.
Yeah, me too.
No chance.
No chance.
All right, we're going to go to a quick break here, a little commercial break. We'll be right back with you.
Hello, everybody.
All right, we're back.
Hello, we're back.
On the Mind Grind, the American Mind Grind. Guys, again, if you want to call in, 702-483-4444. We actually have a caller. We're going to take that call now. Go ahead and patch him through. Hi, you're live on the American Mind Grind.
Hey, this is John calling from the place where studs and spuds are made in Pocatello, Idaho.
Up in Idaho, lots of spuds and stuff.
John Trailer, my goodness gracious. Holy moly. What a time to reconnect, huh?
No. I'm not telling you who I am.
Oh, okay.
All I'm going to say is wide right reverse 6, and one of you are going to know what I mean.
Wide right reverse 6 is when you come out here and you run 6 steps and you fake in. The defender falls for it every time in football.
Yeah.
And then you fade out this way and you're all by yourself. Boise State still runs that today. We used to run it as kids, you know, all day in the neighborhood. It worked every time. Wide right reverse 6. Teach the kids.
Yep. How goes things?
Hey, so I actually called in to say something of substance besides the fact that one of you guys is my favorite DJ.
Yeah.
So you're talking about Donald Trump, and, you know, people say that he's an idiot, and I have to think that, you know, Donald Trump's an idiot too, but in the reality, does that make him different than any of the other candidates? Are any of the other candidates, if Democrat or Republican, not equally stupid?
I think everybody I say it all the time. It's funny you say that. I say it all the time that politics is Hollywood for ugly people. I think
You never shared that with me. That's a good one, bro.
I think they're all idiots.
Oh, my goodness. That is good. That's some good
Well,
stuff right there.
Having said all that, and I agree with that, I'm not sure I'm going to vote for him or anybody else, but don't be surprised if Donald Trump wins. And my view on that is that they're all idiots, and everybody's tired of the same type of idiot that continues to run for office and really gets nothing done. They talk about the same issues every single election. You can name them, and they'll talk about it. They're going to talk about saving the elderly and taking care of Medicare. Then they get in office, they don't do anything about it. They talk about schools and education. We need more money for teachers. It never happens. And so all of these guys that say these rehearsed little sound bites, all of those politicians, except for Trump, they're all the same. And so America has seen what's going on in the last 8 years when Obama's been in office and the Republicans can't get along. And I think America is finally saying, you know what? Trump's an idiot, but he's no worse than the rest of you guys. He's a little bit different, and I don't think he's a made man. I mean, a molded man like the rest of the politicians. So I wouldn't be surprised if the guy pulls it off.
You know, he made a great point.
Yeah.
But they always say we're going to bolster money for education. The reality is, here in the state of Nevada, locally, they're stripping teachers of almost every benefit that they have. It's as simple as that. They are stripping them of their health. They're stripping their salary. They're basing their salary on kids' performances, students' performances, where the parent should be responsible, send their kid into school to perform and be prepared. And now the teachers are going to be responsible for 20, 30 kids at a time. And if they don't have the right test results, they're going to take even more money from them. Performance-based salaries for teachers. Isn't that something?
All the while, too, they're giving a $5,000 signing bonus to new teachers when they're cutting all this stuff out for the existing teachers that have been here with tenure.
Just to get them here because
Just
there's
to
a
get 'em here.
shortage.
Just-
Yeah,
now
they'll
they're
give
all
you-
going to
Yeah.
quit.
Yeah, they'll give you a little something on the front end to get you on the back. Hello. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and the story's the same in Idaho, too. Idaho's rated like 48th in the nation on quality of education offered to kids.
We're dead last,
and-
John, currently,
and so
by the way.
It's no surprise that the teenagers in Idaho, when they graduate, they leave to another college because there's nothing here for them. They want to get out.
I have a friend that actually just accepted a contract in Minnesota. Same type of cost of living situation as Nevada, $70,000.
Wow. Starting
Okay.
job?
Yes. Well, no. She's an experienced
She's
teacher.
got-
She even has masters and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, $70,000 goes a long way in Minnesota. So the notion that back east, if you're making $70,000, which is the same as $35,000 here, does not apply. You understand this? The Clark County School District is just not offering teachers enough compensation. The money's not there. I understand that. I get it. You know what I mean? But to have a presidential candidate talk about education there, and actually think that he has a grasp of the issue is just ridiculous.
So that person could be the best teacher ever. There's no way we'll be able to keep her.
That
Ever.
is exactly
Ever.
right.
We're
That
going
is
to
exactly
have the
right.
worst of the worst.
Jeff, we have more Teacher for America candidates for employment for education than any state in the entire country. We have the dead last worst educational system in the entire
And
country here in
it's
Nevada.
funding, right? Money is probably the biggest. It sounds
Money,
like.
yeah. I mean,
biggest
when it comes
obstacle.
down to it, it's finance.
Now,
yeah, it's
Dad,
just
I mean,
finance.
John.
Are we doing a good job? Are you approving?
In Idaho, they have a lottery. Is that correct? That goes to the schools.
Yes, supposedly, and it also goes to the Capitol Building Fund for the state. I don't know what proportion.
What percentages are or anything? But they have definitely more funding than we do, and they're still struggling there. So,
But yeah, my daughter's got a master's in Spanish, and she's making under $40,000. Go figure that.
The mother of my child has master's plus 32, and her contract is around $48,000. Isn't that
Well, there you
absolutely
go.
ridiculous?
Hey, I'll say one more thing, and I'll let you guys
right, cool.
continue on, and I'll get off the air, besides the fact that you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
I like this thing I heard, I don't know who said it, but all the politicians should wear NASCAR jackets so we all know who owns them.
Yeah, like Team Manischewitz or something like that. That'd be
Yeah,
cool,
and
right?
you know what?
Put it right on
Donald
his shoulder.
Donald Trump would just continue wearing a blue suit because nobody owns that man, and I think that's appealing to the public.
It is.
I'm going to sign off. Over and out to you guys. Keep up the good work.
thank you. Thanks for calling in.
Nice
Thanks,
talking to
John.
you,
All right.
John. Thanks. Good night.
See you in October for the Worlds there in Arizona, Dad.
That's right.
Always good when Pops calls in. That kind of took me by surprise. Good
He's
to,
a pretty sharp guy.
good to hear from him.
Where we
so,
at?
Yeah, let's get off Donald Trump. Let's go to. Do you guys eat? You want to go to Subway?
Eat fresh.
Eat fresh.
$5 foot long. Hello.
You want
know,
to go talk
Jerry.
about Jared Fogle for a little?
What a piece of work this guy is. Holy moly. We'll have a little fun here. Finally, some levity.
Yeah, something to laugh about.
Other than the topic itself is very serious
That's
situation.
serious business. That's
It's a
nothing
very
to laugh
serious
about.
situation he found himself in, This is horrible. This is a horrible story.
So what happened is, you want to bring it to us, Matt?
Go ahead.
What happened is Jared Fogle, the guy, everyone knows him, the Subway guy who lost X amount of pounds by eating Subway sandwiches. They're saying that part of it was eating Subway sandwiches. First, let's stop there. That's not going to make you lose weight. The bread on the sandwich alone is more than you should have in the day. The gluten is horrible. Stay away from it. Subway will not help you lose weight. So that's the first scam he played. The second one is he found out that somebody he was working with was doing child pornography.
Well, how did he lose the weight, Jeff? Well, he sniffed something, or what did he do?
He had to come out. There was a whole lawsuit about it. He had to come back out and say, okay, part of my routine every day was eating the Subway.
Wow, I was completely bamboozled because I thought he ate exclusively Subway 3 times a day or something like that. Some ridiculous thing like that.
No,
or twice a day or
And
whatever.
everybody was fooled, and that's why they had to come back out and say, Jared, who was assisted by Subway in losing the weight, it was part of my routine. They can't say that eating Subway will make you lose the weight. If I shove 3 of those things down you every single day, you're going to gain weight.
I'll tell you what was bamboozled was Jerry. I thought he was a pretty cool guy. You know,
yeah.
America's sweetheart. You know, he's
Jared?
a weight loss guy and he was
Jared.
successful. Turns out Jerry does some dirty bird things, dude.
Jared's a dirty bird.
He's a dirty birder trying to profit off dirty bird things.
So allegedly, the way I understand it is his buddy was doing child pornography.
Okay.
And he had an opportunity that he thought about, I should probably turn this guy in, should probably turn him in. Then the buddy said, listen, here's the money that you can make on it.
Oh.
And so he had the money and the power to get involved and take it a step further. Then I guess, I mean, I think there's more of the story still to come out, but I guess there's 5 different counts or something like that
He already
about
pleaded guilty of possession of child pornography.
already.
That in itself lands you in jail, and not a pretty stay in jail to boot.
No.
You know what I mean?
No,
They
that-
do not like those folks in there. Oh, my goodness.
The
gonna
people
get
in
knifed.
prison,
Bubba.
they feel
Yeah,
that
Bubba.
they can't protect their families because they're on the inside.
That's right.
So they get somebody like that in there. And I mean, I heard. I haven't.
Oh, Jerry's rich though, buy himself into like some Tai Chi prison or something like that. You know what I mean? He'll be doing like playing tennis and whatnot, getting steak at night. That's what happens, by the way.
Right.
If
He'll
you're
be-
rich,
Right.
Well,
we
how much
treat
do
you a
those
little
Subway
different.
commercials pay? Obviously, if he needs an extra.
Well, over the
couple
last, like,
nickels,
20 years, God
exactly.
knows,
He had
He's
to have
made-
a good hunk of change.
God knows.
He's
man.
made $15 million off of Subway.
Wow. Eat
$15
fresh.
million.
Word.
It's his reported income. He has pled guilty. He will pay $1.79 million in restitution and faces 15 to 20 in jail, guys.
Very nicely done.
Where's that voice
You know
coming
what? I am. By the way, I'm looking for new employment. Subway.
Right.
Listen, I'm a big boy. I could lose some weight. I'll eat your shit all day. You know what I mean? I don't give a shit. I'll even work out and then like tell people that I'm only eating your crap.
I'll sit in the
You know what I
sauna
mean?
with you too.
Your sandwiches, by the way, suck. There's like a million places better. I'm sorry. I went away. I'm sorry. I get upset sometimes.
So I guess the story is going to come out pretty bad that he got caught fooling around with these kids.
Oh, geez, Louise.
And
oh, my
that's-
goodness.
that's what they're alleging to. So we'll see how it unfolds, and we'll stick with it on the show. But
yeah, Jerry's going to be in big trouble coming up, bud.
I got
Yeah.
a good idea since they're short of man. We'll use you as a before picture and him as an after.
Perfect.
Yeah, side view.
Done deal. Done deal. That's $15 million right there. Oh my goodness
cash
gracious.
it in. We'll
Voice-
go to Porta Subs instead.
yeah. Capriati's, dude. They have like 500 locations. We
rival.
can talk.
Capriati's good.
And,
sandwich.
and it's a good sandwich to boot. I just don't suspect I'll lose a lot of weight eating a capastrami.
If we're gonna go for it, let's just go for like KFC.
What do you think, Jeff, about that?
Yeah, if they sponsor us and bring here, I don't eat it anymore, but I used to eat the what's the cranberry one?
Oh
at
yeah, the
Thanksgiving?
Bobby.
The
it's like
Bobby.
it's
The
like
Bobby.
Thanksgiving on a roll. You know what
Oh,
I'm
my
saying?
Goodness, that
Oh,
was
that's good stuff.
That's-
And that's a weight loss thing, isn't it, Jeff? With the cheesesteak. The cheesesteak sub, like a 12-inch cheesesteak sub, that's part of my regimen on a regular. You know what I'm saying?
Now I understand on the commercials.
Sorry.
I lost 50 pounds in 1 month.
Eating capastramis and cheesesteaks
And
all
they'll
day.
fade out of him. Look at me now. Matt's onto something to this whole thing.
This is a great idea.
Yeah.
Before and after. So, I mean, I kind of wondered why Jared, every time they showed him, instead of having the foot long, he had the 6-inch.
That's disgusting. And I have word for Capriati. Matt and I will do a 2-for-1 with you for $15 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem.
Absolutely.
You got 2 of us.
The price of one. That's insane. That's
It's
insane.
a crazy story. I mean, it's going to unravel even worse. There's going to be terrible details that are going to come out. They're going to go to his house. They're going to look at his server. They're going to find his IP address. He's probably visited places. He's probably all kinds of things are going to come out about Jerry. Jerry's in big
Jared.
trouble. Jared. What the hell?
You know, there's people sitting in the pen that can't wait to knife him as soon
Oh,
as
I
he
know.
walks in.
Oh yeah, but
Bragging
like I
rights.
said, he might not go to a place like that. Also, he can request isolation. You know, what I mean, under the nature of his crime, there's a lot of things he can do to avoid getting. You know,
Well, here's where the conversation turns into he might be able to plea some kind of insanity, or they say it's a disease. They say that if you're a pedophile, that it's a disease, and now you go to a psychiatrist that if they can prove that in a court of law, he might end up on house arrest.
You get it from eating Subway sandwiches.
Right, the Subway sandwiches give it to you.
I heard the feds took 3 PCs from his house.
Personal computers.
Three of them?
Wow.
They're going to find some stuff.
I have a feeling that Jerry probably did something on those computers. Made a couple of inquiries about things.
Yeah, I'm thinking you're right. They're going to find some things on there. Oh, it's going to get bad. So while we're on it, we won't stick on it too much longer, but on a serious note on that charge, I mean, in my opinion, if it's a disease, fine, but you can't affect society with it. If you have that disease, in my opinion, if I were our next president, Trump, if I was President Trailer, I would stamp the forehead with pedophile. That's a pedophile right there.
Yeah, that's,
Or you're going to be locked up, one of the two, which is better for you today.
Well, the issue is that they often are undiscovered. They live amongst us, and they're sick human beings. If it's insanity or if it's been diagnosed by a professional, it's really not relevant. The issue is that they have this inside of them, hardwired into their personality, which is a bad thing, And sometimes you don't know that the enemy is living right amongst you or next door. And the good thing is about the internet, it does share that information. If somebody gets like a sexual assault or something like that against a minor, they're going to be in some sort of database. And I'm sure mistakes are made, and I'm sure they go undiscovered anyway. But at least they have that, to kind of communicate with the community on that. I
Right.
certainly would not be comfortable if a pedophile came and lived next door to me.
My opinion on the whole matter is they
Sure.
prey on the weak and the innocent, kill them all, let God sort them out, and be done with it.
Yeah,
I kind of agree. I think,
and I'm sure there are people on both sides of that, right?
right. But I learned it as a young child watching the movie Old Yeller. You guys remember that movie where the dog gets the rabies and they have to kill it and the kid's crying and nobody can understand why they're putting down this nice dog who didn't want to do harm to society, but once he had rabies, he was a threat. And, if you believe in the weak will die off and the strong will survive, or if you believe in, we're all animals and we're here to survive, the wolf pack, if one of the wolves is going to weaken the pack, they leave it. There's no emotion involved, like, oh, let's help him recover. Let's help him get back on his feet so that we can hunt again.
I suspect if Jerry lived many centuries ago, they would have. He probably be
Jared?
the weakest link. Jared. I think he'd
Still
probably be the
Jared.
weakest link of any clique or crew or whatever.
Right. He would have died off
Yeah, he'd been
long
died off
ago.
the first couple of days.
So we'll stay on that story
Yeah.
and we'll keep everybody updated to what happens once his day comes in court, because I'm curious to see.
Well, when he gets sentenced, we can celebrate.
Yeah,
Bye, Jerry.
we'll see if
Bye-bye.
if they diagnose
You
him
go.
with. But I think he's guilty because he came into it. It's not like he had a behind the closet type thing. He came into it. The buddy introduced him to it, and so it was a learned behavior. If I was the prosecutor, that's the way I take
That's
it.
a good
Correct. He
way
had
to
the
go.
opportunity to do the right thing, and he didn't.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So talking about doing
That's
the
it.
right thing, let's talk about first place, second place, and third place.
That's a great story that's created all kinds of buzz socially, is the James Harrison story. Pittsburgh Steelers, right? Stud ball player, MVP of a Super Bowl. His kids got participation trophies, and he returned them because he didn't feel like the kids did, unless they were champions or co-champions or something along those lines. His kids did not deserve to just get participation trophies just for showing up, simply
Meaning
for
that
showing
their
up.
team did not take first, second, or third place.
That would be correct, yep.
Just we're gonna give you a trophy anyway. What do you ever got a participation trophy, Matt?
Not one that I kept, actually.
That's cool, Matt.
if
That's
you-
cool. That's true.
If you look at his background too, he was a walk-on at Kent State. He was undrafted in 2002. He played one season in the NFL in Europe. Then he was cut by the Baltimore Ravens. All of this before he became a kick-ass Pittsburgh Steeler. So all of those things motivated him to become better.
And he's a stud.
He is.
He's a hard-hitting guy, man.
He's almost 40
awesome.
now.
Yeah.
And he's still
I went
playing.
to, at my son's school, and I talked directly with the phys ed teacher or the director. I don't know what the hell whatever. And I asked him, I go, when's field day? My boy runs quick, and I was like, you know what? I want to line him up and run him, and I'll put some dollars to donuts that he'll win, place, or show. And
Put him
he
in the
said to me.
trifecta.
He said to me, he goes, "What's field day?" And I looked forward to that. When I was a kid, I loved it because there was a time and a place where Eric wasn't quite as big as I am these days. And I won those ribbons, and I coveted those ribbons. Jeff told me a couple days ago, like if it was a white or a red ribbon, he would have thrown it away. But I even held on to those two. But if I was win, place, or show, I was certainly proud of myself, and I enjoyed those days.
Well,
Look
I had
forward
them
to
in a
it.
book. I kept them, just I didn't display them.
Right. Okay.
Only first
only the
place.
monies, only the money ones. Yeah.
My
Yeah,
mother
there
used to
wasn't
get so
room.
mad at me because I threw every third place medal I ever got away. Every single one was in the trash.
Dad made me a stud. The guy that called in earlier. We won first place or second place or third. Always everything:
Yeah.
boxing, wrestling, football, baseball, basketball, track and field, like you said. But never was it okay to lose.
Yep.
And he was school of hard knocks. If you don't deserve it, you don't get it.
Yeah, like if you don't swing at strike 3, you don't get to go home.
You walk home. You get to go home, but you're probably going to walk.
Yeah.
And the theory was, if it was close enough to be called a strike, it was close enough to swing at. And I remember my mother would go bonkers at him. You're too hard on him. You're too hard on him. You're too hard on him. But it made me better than the other kids. And I like to think that in life I'm better than the other kids still because of that upbringing and it was always good job. It was always great job. But I could hit the game-winning home run, but in the third inning, you swung at a ball over your head. You can never catch up with that ball. Stop swinging at it.
That's right.
And
I think I you know what, Jeff? Matt and I spent the whole week thinking, like, what's the other side of it? How can you defend the participation trophy? And I had a really hard time finding anything, but I did find that some people's sentiment is if you try, you're there, you don't quit, you show up, you're consistent, you're a small part of a whole, teamwork. And, maybe it will just spark an interest in a kid, too. You hand him a trophy, and he might not be a really good ball player, but when he gets that last place trophy or a lump of coal or something, he'll want to win the first place trophy next season. Maybe make him work a little harder.
motivate him to do more.
Exactly.
I think a little bit, dude, boils down to the pussification of the male in our society now. They always want everyone to settle. Say you're the worst place. They just want you to come back and be happy that you're even competing or even there.
Pussification.
Oh, I love that. You can trademark that, bro.
I love that
Hey,
word.
Matt said it first. We
You
get
heard it
credit.
here first.
Pussification.
The American mind grind.
We might come up with a big thing right there.
I agree 100% because I think it's the feminization of the man in the United States. Like, very rarely do you meet a man, like a John Wayne. Like, it's long gone are those days, and I think that this is part of it. I understand that a mother and a father want to love their child and nurture their child and take care of their child, but there is such thing as doing too much. And
Correct.
by doing so much of love and so much nurture, you're giving that child a disadvantage once they hit society, because you go to any job, they don't just be like, you know what, Dave's the number one salesman, he's always the number one salesman, but instead of giving him $10,000 and everyone else $3,000 versus the bonus structure set up, we're just going to split it between everybody.
Right. Well, you run a company too. What do you do if you have a salesperson that's not performing? You don't let them sit there in their office all day and do nothing. They're gone.
No, I don't come in
Coffee's
and
for
be like, you know
closers,
what?
bud.
Yeah, exactly.
Coffee's for closers.
The coffee, stay away from the coffee.
Yeah, stay away from the car. No, I'm serious. My wristwatch is worth more than your car.
That's who I am. Glenn Gary.
Oh, great movie.
No, I agree, and it's a tough society these days. Should we talk about Billy Joel real quick?
Oh God, we're not going to get to it.
We have
man.
enough
We might
time.
as well-
Should we save that.
I
till-
can, we can do a Sesame Street. I could do it for like 2 minutes.
Let's do that. Tell us about.
All right, Sesame Street,
Street's a
real
good
breakdown.
story.
Everyone's upset. Sesame Street has just been purchased by HBO. The truth of the story is HBO bailed Sesame Street out from PBS, financed the production of the show. They're going to double the shows each year from 18 to 35. They're going to show it first run on HBO as part of their network, but then they're gifting the masters to the PBS network, which we all know is a dying thing, and they're going to let them show them indefinitely after the initial 9-month run on HBO. It's a good story, actually. A lot of people just jump. Knee-jerk reaction is, oh, we got to pay for Sesame Street. I grew up on it. I'm sure Jeff watched it a couple of times here and there, and it was a behemoth in regards to merchandising for the last 3 or 4 decades, or who knows, 6 decades or something like that. But it's a feel-good story. Thanks to Stormy for bringing that one to me. I appreciate that one. And
Well, it helps kids learn English, right?
oh, absolutely.
there's
It's a
definitely
really good
benefit to
learning tool.
having it stay alive.
It's a great learning tool.
I was just wondering if the guy who was Elmo's voice is going to be Jared's cellmate when they're.
Oh, the kid comes out swinging every week. I don't know what to do with him. It's nuts.
Do Elmo. How's Elmo sound?
I can't do Elmo.
Oh, you're real cute, aren't you?
Oh, man. Well, did you have fun?
I had a great time. We'll see you guys next week. We got 50 more of these to do.
Yeah. Still going. How about you, Matt? You enjoying the show?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think, you know what, if just to touch back on the participation trophies,
Sure.
just real quick, I think it just teaches the kids that being average is okay. When really,
Yeah,
we
if
need
you
to teach
just
them
had to
that
sum
they
it
need to
up.
be the best, you know. And I don't think that's the foundation that this country was built on.
I agree 100%. I think being average is okay if you are absolutely shooting for the moon and trying your best.
Absolutely.
But all right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes another show. As we adjourn here tonight, we're going to leave you with this beautiful song, Calm Your Nerves. As you fall asleep, think of everything you've heard on tonight's program. Try to relax and let all thoughts become one. Remember, your brain is a muscle and you must exercise it. Practice logical thinking. For God's sakes, man, be kind to each other. Good night, and thank you for listening to the American Mind Grind.
Give you the world if it was mine.